first, I'll start with the verse. Let me check my notes. Stop.
Mom.
I gotta stop it. I'm trying to do this.
Mom.
I need it. Okay, hold on. And then if I. What do you need?
I need my lunchbox.
Oh, you actually need this.
Yes.
I am so sorry. I was so busy trying to plan my lesson, I didn't even notice that he actually needed something. And I'm about to talk about Jesus noticing the needy. I can't believe that. See, Jesus noticed the needy, and I didn't even notice that my own son needed his lunch, which is actually really important. Otherwise, he would have been hungry all day long. I need to be more like Jesus. Jesus noticed the needy, and we need to learn about that story today. So let's jump in.
You know what's amazing about Jesus' ministry is that Jesus noticed the needy. He ministered to everyone. A lot of the people of his time, like the religious leaders and the priests, believed that you had to be clean to approach the church to be cleaned, that you have to approach God perfectly to be perfected. But Jesus wasn't like that. Jesus ministered to everybody, the sick, the needy, the poor, the sinners. He brought salvation for everybody. Actually, the greatest part about Jesus noticing the needy is that when we need him, we'll be noticed. Okay, I didn't spill it. That was really hard to do because I couldn't see. And today in our story, we're talking about a man who couldn't see. His name was Bartimaeus. Can you say Bartimaeus? Bartimaeus. Exactly. Bartimaeus was a man who couldn't see. He was blind, and he needed Jesus. Actually, I want to read you that story. We're starting in Mark 10, verses 46. It says, "Then they," meaning Jesus and his disciples, "reached Jericho. And as Jesus and his disciples left, a large crowd followed him. Naturally, it's Jesus. Who wouldn't want to follow him? A blind beggar named, exactly, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, was sitting beside the road. When Bartimaeus heard that Jesus of Nazareth was nearby, he began to shout out, 'Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me.' 'Be quiet!' Many of the people were yelling, 'Be quiet' to him. He needed Jesus, and people tried to silence him. But Bartimaeus only shouted louder, 'Son of David, have mercy on me.' When Jesus heard him, he stopped and he said to them, 'Tell him to come to me.' He called for them to bring Bartimaeus to him. So they called the man and they said, 'Cheer up. Come, he's calling you.' So Bartimaeus threw aside his coat, jumped up, and came to Jesus. Now Jesus asked Bartimaeus, 'What do you want me to do for you?' Well, this is Jesus. Jesus probably knew exactly what a man who couldn't see wanted, but he still asked. And Bartimaeus called him my rabbi, which is another way of saying my teacher. He respected him and he called him by the title rabbi. He said, 'My rabbi, I want to see.' When he told him what he wanted, Jesus noticed that he told him what he needed. Jesus notices the needy. Jesus said to him, 'Go, for your faith has healed you.' Instantly, the man could see, and he followed Jesus down the road. Bartimaeus didn't call to Jesus because he wanted just a miracle. He called to Jesus because he had faith that Jesus would notice him, a man in need. Faith that he would heal him. And once he was healed, he didn't just stop there. He chose to follow Jesus. Jesus notices the needy.
Have you guys ever been looking around your classroom or at the mall or on a playground or even maybe in your lunch cafeteria and seen somebody and just known they have a need? They're in need. Maybe not. Because the truth is, you and we don't always notice the needy. We don't always notice that somebody needs a hug or a friend or something like that. We kind of get a little blind to it. But I want to share a time with you when somebody saw my need. And they not only saw it, but they met my need. And it had such a lasting impact on me that I have remembered it for 15 years. Wow. When I was in high school, I got my schedule and I looked at my lunch period because I wanted to see if I had any friends in there. But none of my closest friends had the same lunch as me. So I go through the line, get my apple, my milk, my pizza. I check out and I walk in to the ginormous cafeteria. And I don't recognize anybody. I'm getting really scared and nervous and uncomfortable. I don't see anybody to sit with, and I don't really know what to do at this point because I don't want to sit by myself. That would be kind of embarrassing. Would everybody think this kid doesn't have any friends? So I was just getting ready to just throw my lunch away and either go to the bathroom or ask for a library pass when someone from a previous class saw me out of hundreds of kids and saw that in that moment, I really needed a friend. And they invited me to come sit with them and their friends at their table. That moment was so huge for me because that friend saw me and met my need without expecting anything in return. They just saw me and knew they need a friend, and they were there for me. And all that fear and anxiousness and nervousness that I felt instantly disappeared. And it was like I was healed from all of that. But it got me thinking, how did they see my need and know it? So I wanted to do an activity with you guys where we're going to look out at a crowd and we're going to try and see if we can see the needs of people. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Do you guys see any needs of the people that we're looking at right now? Take a really good look. Is anything popping out at you? No? Okay, come back here. The truth is that it can be hard for you and I, right? To see the needs of other people. And in order to do so, we really need to think like Jesus, which is what I think my friend must have been doing. He must have had his Jesus lenses on to see my need and meet it. So I thought today I would pull out my Jesus binoculars because when I put these on, I have my Jesus lenses on, which means I can see the needy because we know that Jesus sees the needy. So if I put these on and I look through the crowd, well, suddenly I can see the needs. I can see them, guys. Do you guys want to try these on? All right, I'm coming to you. Okay, so now let's look at the crowd with our new Jesus lenses on. What do you guys see? Do you see somebody who needs a friend? How about a hug? How about prayer? Look, there's someone who just needs somebody to listen to them. Oh, look, that guy needs a hot dog. See, when we think like Jesus, meaning we've read our Bible, we know what he sounds like, we know how he treats others, we can put our Jesus lenses on too. And we can see the needy because Jesus sees the needy.
Okay, so today we are going to make Jesus binoculars because we want to be able to see people the way Jesus did. Now, of course, the binoculars are not going to actually make us see people the way Jesus did, but it's going to be a good reminder for us to be able to see people like Jesus saw them. So here's the materials you're going to need. All right, you're gonna need some tape. I like to use clear tape, but you're not gonna see it. So if you have colored tape or any kind of tape, whatever you have will work. So grab some tape. You're gonna need a long piece of string or yarn, whatever you have will work, long piece. You're gonna need some scissors. You're gonna need some colored pens, markers, crayons to decorate. Colored pencils will work too. You're gonna need 2 tubes. You can use a long paper towel tube and cut it in half, or 2 toilet paper tubes. And then you're gonna need a sheet of colored paper. If all you have is white paper, that's fine too, because we're gonna decorate it. So you're gonna need a sheet of paper. So gather your things, pause it, and come right back. Okay, so now we're ready to make our Jesus binoculars. So the first thing you're gonna do is get your 2 tubes, and we're gonna wanna attach these together with tape. So get your tape ready. I like to make a little tape ball. So you're gonna take your tape and make a little loop like that, and stick your 2 tubes together, just like that. Okay, and those are pretty stuck together, but just to make sure they're secure, you can tape the top and bottom of your tubes. Okay, so while you're doing that, let's talk about our story today. All right, so the blind man that Jesus healed, does anybody remember his name? Was it Bartimaeus, Bartholomew, or Benjamin? Do you remember his name? It was Bartimaeus. You're right. Bartimaeus was his name. Good job. Okay, so now we have our tubes stuck together. I can shake them, and they're not falling apart, so I know I did a good job. Okay, so I have my 2 tubes stuck together. All right, so I'll move my tape out of the way. Now it's time for the construction paper. And what I'm gonna wanna do is take it long ways like this, okay? I like to call this hamburger and hot dog, all right? So I'm gonna I'm gonna have it long way like this, all right? Like a hot dog bun. And I'm gonna put my tubes at the top. Okay, this is measuring my paper. And I'm gonna take and fold my paper over so that it is, let's see, I'm gonna go from this edge, and I'm gonna fold it over so that it misses my tubes, so I'm completely missing them. Does that make sense? So none of the paper is in the way of the tubes. So this edge right here is missing the tubes. Does that make sense? I'm gonna make a crease. This is just to measure. Okay, so I've measured it, and then I'm gonna open it up like that, and I'm gonna cut along that line. So what I've done is I've measured it so that it's gonna fit my tubes. Okay, so you're gonna fold it to measure, crease it really good to make your line, open it back up, and then you're gonna cut. It's okay if it's not completely straight. The idea is that it's gonna cover your tubes. All right, and then we're gonna cut that out. Okay, now, as we're cutting it out, I have another question for you. When Jesus healed Bartimaeus, he told him, he said, go, your blank has healed you. Do you remember what it was that has healed him? Did he say, your love has healed you? Did he say, your faith has healed you? Or did he say, your words have healed you? What was it that Jesus said healed him? Do you remember? Did you say faith? It was faith. His faith healed him. Good job, guys. Okay, so now we have our paper all cut out, and then we're gonna take our tubes and we're gonna wrap it. But before we do, let's decorate it a little bit. So we're decorating binoculars that help us see like Jesus. So we're gonna take our paper and let's cover it in some words or some symbols that are gonna help us remember to see people like Jesus. What are some words or symbols we could put on this paper? I wanna see people with love, for sure. That's the first thing I think of. And I'm gonna put some hearts on it that are gonna help me remember to love people. I probably want to see people and remember to be patient. Sometimes I get really impatient with people, and I need to remember to be patient with people. I also need to remember to see people with joy. Sometimes I can get pretty grumpy with people, especially early in the morning with people. Like my family, when I wake up in the morning, I can get pretty grumpy. I need to remember to see people with joy. I'll put smiley faces too. To remember to be joyful. And then maybe some sunshines. Because the morning, I can get grumpy. Ask my kids. I can get pretty grumpy in the morning. So I should be patient, loving, joyful. You know what else? I need to remember to be a peacemaker. Sometimes when I'm arguing, I like to be right. And it's important to have peace. And remember to be peaceful with people. And to not always have to be right. Okay, so there's my decorations. All right, so now I have my decorations to decorate my Jesus binoculars. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on top of my binoculars, see how they fit? Right on top of my tubes like that. And I'm gonna wrap it around, kind of like you're wrapping a present. I'm gonna wrap it around and then I'm gonna get my tape back out. And I'm gonna tape it right here on the edge, okay? Now it might kind of slip on and off, but that's okay. What we're gonna do is stand it up like that and get my tape. And I'm just gonna tape it inside of the tubes like that so that it doesn't slip. And you can do it on both sides if you want. It just depends on how slippery or secure you want it to be. Okay? Just like that. Okay, so now I have it all wrapped with my words and my decorations. Okay? Then I'm gonna take my yarn, okay? And then I'm just gonna tape my yarn onto the sides of my binoculars, wherever I want to put it. Right here. And if you have cute decorative tape, this will look even prettier. Take my yarn on the side, like this. Once your binoculars are all together, it's gonna look something like this. And you can wear it around your neck and look through it and remember to see people like Jesus did. And you may not wear it all day, every day, but you can put it by your bed or put it by your sink where you get ready in the morning, or put it somewhere where you'll see it and you'll remember to see people the way Jesus did, with love and patience and joy and peace. And you'll remember that it's important to look at people and see people the way Jesus saw people and be a little more like Jesus every day. See you next week.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Brothers and sisters, don't be afraid. He's got the whole
world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Everything that's come to be, he's got the whole
world. Yeah, yeah. He has the sun, he has the trees, he has the child that's praying on her knees. He has the stars that cascade by. He has the man who sits and wonders why. Just like a melody, his touch, it weaves through you and me. Fingerprints like a brand, every bit written by his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
brothers and sisters, don't be afraid. He's got the whole
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Everything that's come to be, he's got the whole
He's got the whole world, yeah, yeah. He has the beach, each grain of sand. He has the couple walking, holding hands. He has the blue of every sky. He has the light that lights our eyes. Just like a melody, his touch, it weaves through you and me. Fingerprints like a brand, every bit written by his hands.
Hello, today in today's news, God is not dead and the world is still in his hands.
You see, he
holds us tighter than the sun that lights our face. He holds us tighter than the gravity that holds us in place. Tighter than the rhyme and the melody, tighter than the shoreline that kisses the sea.